Welcome everyone to the JK Podcast, the only podcast that thinks that the Nintendo Mini Direct was better than Xbox's entire event today.
JK times infinity. Oh my god.
I didn't even put that in the talking points, because that was the worst Direct, I think, ever. I
honestly forgot about it. I didn't remember it, and then you brought up, I was like, that did just happen. I was like, oh, no, suppress that. Put it back under the rug, Kenneth. Sweep it right back.
Quick mini discussion while we're still in the intro here. What was worse, the Bakugan and Pokemon Unite Direct, or the Mini Direct?
Okay, first of all, those were two separate things.
Were they separate?
It was Bakugan with Paper Mario right before it came out.
Oh my god, that's right. Those are three different Directs.
Dear God. Okay. Let me rank them. So, keep in mind, the scale is already very low to start with, but ranking from best to worst. The best one, which...
Pokemon.
No. Oh, yeah. No, I forgot we were considering that. In my mind, then I was splitting Paper Mario, and I was like, well, Paper Mario was okay, but they showed the same thing. Never mind. Okay, yeah. So, Pokemon, the best of that, because I'm mildly interested. I'll try it. Then, it has to be this mini direct partner garbage. And then, come on, the Bakugan is way down there. Paper Mario, I'm already getting the game. I got the game. And then it's like, ooh, random new game, ooh, and
no, it's the fact. Bakugan. It's the fact they said they announced it the day before. They said it was Way Forward, who is known for the Shantae games and actually some good, solid games.
Correct.
And then they had to go out of their way to say, hey, just so you know, it's based off a third-party franchise,
which is still fine because
it's fine.
That's literally still Shantae, still something like that. And I was like, oh, new Shantae game, maybe they really shuffled it up and it's really cool, and I was like, wow, that'd be cool, maybe Paper Mario, maybe it's more like that, and no.
Bakugan, which I didn't even know was relevant. That entire day I just did so much Bakugan research. What was the it's still a thing. There's apparently a current anime that's still pretty high regarded, so
I knew it was a thing 15 years ago or whatever it was, and I thought it's probably still a thing on some subreddit somewhere. Because there's a subreddit for anything.
Yo, the Bakugan subreddit, it was popping that day.
Popping off. Usually it has one person online.
There was Reddit gold being flown around.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yo, Mom,
it went from one user online to 1,000.
I got 2 upvotes today. I told you.
Yes, I swear that still just takes the cake. The Paper Mario part, it's kind of whatever. Just so I don't really count it, just because we knew what it was.
Yeah.
So I'm just really scaling it based on the Bakugan part, and I'm just like, God, no, put that at the bottom.
I feel like they the only reason they did it the way they did, because they were like, okay, if we release Bakugan on its own, we're gonna die. Let's
100%.
Let's try and Trojan horse into it with Paper Mario.
Yes, they did, and they threw that Afro Man under the bus. But they're like, someone's gotta die on this sword, so just. I wonder if he got a bonus for that. I don't know, but
Bakugan 2020 is such a Reddit moment. And D, you are correct.
Yeah, that's the thing. At least it was memorable for the Nintendo community. For what it is, the mini direct thing, at least it had some redeeming qualities, the Cadence of Hyrule thing, the couple DLC.
That's the problem. It starts out so high, all right, Cadence of Hyrule, that was a good game, and then just. No, wait. Rewind it back again. The fact that it was supposed to be a 10-minute mini direct, and then when the video got uploaded, I saw 8 minutes. Immediately, I was like, "Oh no."
That's a good point. That was one good thing, and then, I know that some people do care about that Shin Megami Tensei thing.
That's really big news for people.
That was their big news, right? So that's why I'm it's not the lowest out of those 3, but it doesn't do anything for me. But I think at least it's, I guess, cool. And then the Cadence of Hyrule, I guess, is cool, but I don't know how much I'm gonna go back and do that. But whatever.
I forget what the game was after Cadence of Hyrule, but as soon as I saw it and okay, this is not for me, I I skipped ahead in the direct. Like, I was like, I'm not watching this. I skipped ahead.
Well, right.
And
it's not live.
I saw the WWE thing. I'm like, oh god, no. Kept going. I scanned through the entire direct. Like, okay, was that Shin Megami Tensei? And that's like...
I know. And
then
I just watched it through.
Did you see Japan's version of that direct?
Totally different.
So
much better.
Good stuff. Why would you do that, Nintendo?
I don't know. I mean, it's weird. I mean, I think it's weird though how every other company, like Xbox, Nintendo, like not Nintendo, wow, like Microsoft, Sony, like with their stuff, they just kind of like put out a thing. Nintendo's like, you know, they're like, let's just give them this and give them that and like separate. Like, I don't understand that. I mean, I get some things hit different markets better, but at least throw it in there. I don't know.
They're bad at giving us what we think we want. Like the fact that we got like wrestling. It's like, oh, Americans love wrestling. Let's put that in there. Like,
I know, like that. Oh,
it
such
felt
stereotypical
insulting.
thing. And you know what's funny though is because it's not mentioned at all in the Japanese one. Like it was not there, to my knowledge.
Nope.
So
I don't think it was there. We say that all to say, I'm Ken O'Connor.
I'm Josh Brennan.
And currently recording on July 23rd, 2020. This is the JK Podcast, episode 61.
That's right. We went over the hump.
We've been gone for a month, but we back, baby.
We're back with mild amounts of information. So,
kind of.
I mean, we'll see. But yes, Kenneth, the floor is yours. Lead me in your direction of anger, disappointment.
Okay, so for this episode, we're basically doing the thing where we're picking two major topics and going to talk about them for some amount of time here live on twitch.tv/KindKing01. And today's topics are Paper Mario, the Origami King, which came out last Friday? Or came out Friday, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, well, last Friday. Like last week.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the 16th, yeah.
Yeah. And
not 16th.
Microsoft's Xbox Series X showing
17th.
today. 17th, yeah.
Yes.
So,
but still no price point.
D, since you're the first one in the chat, do you want us to talk about Paper Mario first or Xbox? You're going to put the fate
both
in your...
are very compelling.
Yes, both are very, very compelling.
For probably different reasons, but... If not...
Watch D left. We're just sitting here.
He was like Xbox? Oh god, no.
They're still talking about Bakugan? Xbox.
Oh, okay.
All right. So today was Xbox's big conference about games for their upcoming platform. And I'm phrasing this a very particular way.
Console launch exclusive.
No, we'll get into that. So Sony had their big conference last month where it was game. It was phenomenal. And this is Xbox's response to that. And this was their chance to set up Sony and basically punt them out of the stadium. Mm-hmm. To use the sports term.
Very nice.
What was your initial reactions to the overall conference, Josh? Good, bad, negative? We don't have to go into details yet, but just how'd you feel after watching it?
I thought it was good overall. I just don't think it was as good as it needed to be better.
Yes, I agree.
But I thought it was good, though. I wouldn't say it was bad. So that's my super quick sum up. What about you? I
overall thought it was a good... Like, if this had been, like, an E3, like, presentation thing, I would not have been like, oh, Microsoft failed. Like, they showed a lot of good stuff. I think they covered all of their first-party bases. Like, they showed most of their... They showed... in their show, they showed exclusively their own studios, which I felt was very good for them for their marketing and their messaging. In the pre-show, they showed a bunch of things from indie developers, third parties, which I thought, thank God for that pre-show, because I feel like it really helped balance out everything.
Because I didn't get time to watch that, so I...
Oh, you didn't watch the pre-show?
No, all I saw was that you had retweeted something based on some... What was it? Sega or something is making something?
We're going to talk about that. That's the game that I'm most excited for over the entire day.
Can you just tell me, is that is that like Xbox only or something? Or
okay, this is the bullshit we're gonna get to in a little bit. So before we go into, actually, let's do it now. Before we go into it, I have no idea all the games we saw today.
What is Xbox? What's that?
What is on X? What? So I think Xbox has shot themselves in the foot here. Their whole concept going forward is no more generations. You buy an Xbox, you have access to Xbox games. So like even today, like Halo Infinite, which was their big game today, is gonna be on the Xbox One X. It's gonna play on my I own the console. It's gonna play Halo.
Right.
If I have a PC, it's gonna play Halo. If I buy the Series X, it's gonna play Halo. It's gonna look it's gonna look better on a better PC. It might look the best optimized for Xbox One X. But I have the console that plays Halo. If I have Game Pass, I have they made it a point to say every game they showed in their full show is gonna be on Game Pass.
Right.
So in terms of like the overall I have the next gen console. I have the next gen games already.
Correct.
I have no reason to buy a Xbox One X unless it's drastically different or the game is a Xbox One X exclusive. And go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say that's true. It's just I just also wonder they're not saying they didn't say that'll always be that way. That's how they lead it right now. I wouldn't be surprised in 5 years from now they're going to be like, well, we've discontinued support for newer games from this point from working on Xbox One consoles. I could see them saying something like that. I could see them
doing that, but from all of their marketing, what they're saying, that's not...
Well, correct. As of right now and for the near future, yes, 100%.
Yeah, but... That's making a lot. So first of all, I don't have no reason now to buy an Xbox, and it's hurting a bunch of the games that are on Xbox. So I don't know if you've seen the reactions from today's conference, but people are really digging into Halo because the Halo graphics, although they look super pretty, there's a lot of graphical issues with that game. And when pressed on it, they said, yeah, we had to make sacrifices for it to look good on both the Xbox Series X and the Xbox One X. They didn't make two different versions of the game. They made a version that will run on both consoles, and some things will be up-resed on the Series X.
Right, yeah. Okay, that's fair.
That's a huge, huge, huge issue for me.
Right. I agree. I mean, as it is, I keep thinking at the end of the day, the great thing I took away also was just that these games are going to be part of Game Pass, which they're increasingly making sure that it makes it Xbox and PC.
The Game Pass is right now the best value for any gamer in the world. The fact that they announced that xCloud is now part of Game Pass Ultimate.
Yes, that's amazing.
I want Microsoft to run the business side and have Sony make the hardware and then Nintendo make the games. That's that's the trifecta we need. That's the Triforce.
True, but the way I see it is, if you have a good PC, forget any of these consoles. This is great. Yep. You have these other new games. You got a whole other thing, and just play on your PC, play all these games, and you're right. It's probably going to look better than how it looks on the Xbox One or something, and it'll be great. So I don't know. For me, it's a win because I'm just I have more games to choose from if I want. So I'm not up in arms about the whole console thing and potential graphics issues. I guess because I care about graphics, but at the same time, they didn't look bad. But I see what they're saying about the Halo ones. It looked a little Xbox 360-ish sometimes, and I was like, eh.
It doesn't help with Halo. They're trying to make it look like they're trying to pull up nostalgia from the original Halo. Master Chief's armor looks like his Halo 1 armor. He's on a Halo ring in Halo 1. They're trying to really pull on the nostalgia, and that's great. But then don't make it look like the first game.
Well, it's weird though because Master Chief himself looked really good, and some of the environment and the ships around him, I swear they put a weird texture on it or effect or something to make it more... We should
point out that there was a lot of issues with the stream as well. There was some audio desyncing and a lot of the...
Really?
Yeah, there's big problems across the board.
Which stream were you watching?
Xbox's official stream on YouTube.
Huh.
Yeah, but
It seemed fine to me. Maybe I wasn't paying full attention.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of people complaining about it, and there was really bad. The one part where Chief is riding up the elevator, like he's looking out into the mountains. The snow is popping in and out of like.
What?
Yeah, it looked really, really bad, and I'm watching it like, is this?
Don't they edit that? Don't they look at?
Yeah, like, didn't they see that? Like,
okay.
Is this next gen Halo? Like, is this next gen Halo? Because they made a point to show that it was running on the console. Because when it starts up, it's like press the hamburger button for demo.
Yeah.
Like they really sold that this was being played live, which great. But like I'm just looking at it like this looks like a kind of prettier Halo.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they've still added stuff to it. I think it looks better than a previous Halo game.
But the only thing they
like,
had, D pointed out in the chat, the grappling hook, like that's a new thing.
Yeah,
and we saw it used twice. One to like pull us to an enemy, and it's like a reverse get over here, and then one to like get up on the side of a cliff, which is cool. But a grappling hook doesn't like that's not next gen Halo to me.
No, well,
like
I mean, it's so hard.
Zelda was doing that since Ocarina of Time.
I mean, it's just so hard to define what is next gen other than like better specs on a console, really. But I mean, in terms of gameplay, it's like next gen could mean anything. It just mean the next game in the series. So it just depends on what you're looking for. I mean, I don't even play campaign modes half the time on most games. So I'm trying to think of like how I would approach it. Like if you can use the grappling thing and like multiplayer, like online, like that's a cool new element that it brings to that whole thing.
I completely agree.
I think that evolves that kind of stuff. I think in terms of playing a campaign, it's like whatever, because you could probably just shoot whatever. Who cares about the grappling thing? Maybe a one boss kind of fight, or however they do the Halo campaign, it's probably more relevant, but like whatever. But I think it's still like overall, I think they did a nice job. It's just the graphics weren't the greatest, and I wish they showed more.
Well, that's the thing.
Different things.
They made a point today to only show us some campaign stuff. They would show multiplayer later on because this is not their last conference. We didn't get a price. We didn't get a release date. So they're going to have another one of these next month as well. And that's what they're going to show off multiplayer for Halo. But
it's just they started off with this to start the whole thing, and then like the very very intro part of it, I was like, oh, this is looking good. Chat was into it, like everything's going good, and then they kept showing it more and more, and people were like, and I was like,
I got really kind of just like when they're showing like the buildings and like from far away, they look like Minecraft buildings because they're so blocky and like.
I mean, that's a little aggressive, but I mean, it wasn't as much detail as you would expect. Like, what was it? The game that they showed.
I'm not saying the graphics look blocky. The build, like the big building he's breaking into in the video, is made out of blocks. It was made out of like white, like crystal blocks, and like, okay, is that a style choice, or is that a compensation for draw distance on the old Xbox?
No idea, but I still think that looked fine. Like I don't
know, looks fine, but again, this is their time.
I know,
to blow me away and sell me an Xbox.
I know,
and all they do is okay, my Xbox One X will play that fine in the fall.
Sure, or it's like, you know what, Game Pass. If I already got it anyway, I'll download it, I'll check it out, I'll play it.
I'm never buying another game for Xbox. I will only use the Game Pass now, I think.
Well, that means you still need to build your computer.
Well, no, my Xbox One X will play it. But hey, it doesn't matter. It'll play on the PC too.
I know.
Okay, before we go too deep into Halo, let's go down the list. I have the entire list right here. I've done everything. I took notes. I did the whole thing I did for Sony as well. So you didn't watch the pre-show, but the pre-show was Jeff Keighley from the Game Awards with a bunch of YouTubers, and he had a bunch of world premieres during the actual pre-show.
Side note, did you see him with a 20-minute like video on using the PS5 controller?
Yes, and it's been memed to hell already.
Thank you. All right, continue.
So the first game in the pre-show was Dragon Quest XI, which was it's the version we got on Switch. So with all the remastered audio and like all the extra additions, coming to Xbox Game Pass December 4th, 2020. This is big because it's the first time Dragon Quest has been on the Xbox, and we're getting the really, really nice version that Switch had, but on a Xbox, so it's going to have better graphics. But this is not an Xbox exclusive. This is also coming to PS4 at the same time. but they didn't say that.
Fair.
They just said like, "Hey, it's coming to Xbox."
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Sony did the same thing.
Oh, no,
they just kind of show.
These companies always do. I don't blame them for it, but like. Yeah. Again, with their
it would be helpful for us if we know, as opposed to being like it's for the Xbox and for PC, and it's like, wow, I guess it's only for Xbox. Yeah. And then you look, it's like it's for PlayStation, it's for the Switch, or like it's for other things. It's like, oh,
yeah. Then they showed a game called Exo Mecha, which is a mech game. Looked
Daemon X Machina.
It looked like that, honestly.
Okay.
Out 2021. They showed off a trailer for Watch Dogs Legion, which comes out October 29th.
Fair.
That game looks interesting, and they showed on the bottom for PC, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X. It's gonna be on every console. It doesn't really make a difference. Then they showed off a indie game called Echo Generation, which was the most
Dolphin.
No, not the Dolphin.
Really?
It was basically a Stranger Things ripoff, down to the character design. It's so Stranger Things, it's not even funny. Didn't look that impressive. Then they showed off Hello Neighbor 2, which looked terrifying and fun. Have you ever played the first one?
Sounds familiar. No.
It's that that game you break into the dude's house. And
yeah, it's like cartoony a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
it's very cartoony looking.
Okay.
But it's very, very dark.
Yeah,
I just banks on the Five Nights at Freddy's
I just do not like playing those games, so I don't I don't partake.
Yeah. So after that stuff, again, these were all these trailers were shown during talks with Ninja and Jacksepticeye and the Game Grumps. So it's kind of like a pre-show.
Wait, Ninja was on there?
Ninja was on there, yeah.
Good lord. Anyway.
But then they had a sizzle reel for the ID at Xbox program. That's their indie program, where they showed off the Artful Escape, Lake, The Ascent, Last Stop, XO1, 12 Minutes, The Big Con, The Falconeer, Unexplored 2, Tunic, Song of Iron, Shredders, Mad Streets, Sable, and Dead Static Drive. They showed
I feel like the fact that you listed all those is not a good sign.
No, it's amazing. There's so...
Oh.
Dude, Tunic? We've been waiting for that game for years now.
Tunic was in that list?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, Tunic looked amazing. Song of Iron looked like 2D God of War. Shredders looks like the next SSX Tricky game. Sable looked amazing. 12 Minutes looked phenomenal. The Big Con looked phenomenal. Everything in that sizzle reel looked amazing. And they're all indie games. Now again, I don't know if they're all Xbox exclusive because they don't say that. I doubt they are. They might be timed exclusive. They might be whatever. But that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15 games. 15 amazing games in a sizzle reel in the pre-show. That I don't know, you didn't watch the pre-show. You have no idea.
No, literally no idea. I had no idea any of this was a thing, and I'm just looking at all this now, at least little excerpt things, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, some of these look really good. Some of these have amazing art style. The Artful Escape remind me of all the segments in Rayman Legends where you're running to the music to it. It looks just like an entire game of just that. Last 12 minutes of that game we saw at Xbox's last conference, where it's you're reliving the same 12 minutes over and over again, trying to figure out how to save your wife or something like that. The Falconeer is an amazing falcon flying simulator game. Yep. Just everything they showed in that sizzle reel got me pumped. I was like,
yeah,
yes,
I mean,
if this is the pre-show, they're gonna kill it in the main show.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice to see, though. I mean, these are games that you would just not expect to be on Xbox, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some of these are almost kind of Nintendo-ish looking games. Some of them are more like Sony indie games or something.
Nintendo was definitely the first company to really cater to the indie crowd, I think, for the consoles anyway. Xbox is doing a great job, too. I feel like Sony's probably the weakest of the three in terms of the indie market.
Yeah, I'd agree. Right.
But, 15 amazing games in the pre-show, confined to a small sizzle reel. They should have, peppered these out throughout their main conference. I feel like it would have done wonders for them, honestly. If between every big game they showed a quick snippet of, Tunic or Sable or something. Just all of that was amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I found the video. I mean, maybe this isn't the full thing, but it was 7-minute video that was showing a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah, that's probably it, honestly. Nintendo always
cool.
showcased indies like a major, always respected that. Me too, yeah. Nintendo's been so good to the indie crowd. The fact that Shovel Knight is in Smash Bros. As an assist trophy, an American created indie character in one of the biggest Japanese franchises of all times, that's like an amazing, like that's a lot of respect right there.
I mean, I think if they just put this after Halo or something, if they really wanted to lead with Halo, but then show this for the 7 minutes after that to really kick it off like that, maybe that would have been a lot better. I don't know.
One thing I want to point out before we move forward is Dragon Quest, Exo Mecha, Watch Dogs Legions, Echo Generation, Hello Neighbor 2, and all these indie games, and the next game we're going to talk about too, all showed actual gameplay. They were trailers, but they all showed in-game gameplay of the games they showed.
I mean, that's what I was at least happy to see with the Halo one. I was like, they're actually showing gameplay. I'm like...
Well, Halo was the exception of that entire conference. we'll get to that, though.
Tunic looks fantastic, by the way.
Tunic looks so good.
It's literally just another, old-school Legend of Zelda, but I want to play it.
In a tunic.
I know. I want to play it.
Didn't you, I think we had a podcast, I don't think it was recent, I think it was one of the older ones, where you were like, whatever happened to Tunic?
Yes.
It came up in conversation, just randomly.
Yeah, because, it was the one thing where it's a lot of these games, I'm like, wow, they look really good, or wow, it's kind of whatever, or something. And this one, I was just like, you know what? I would definitely play this. And I'm like, where did that game go? It was very unfortunate, but... Yeah. This is very exciting, even though it probably still means 2021. But anyway, yeah.
But yeah, so the pre-show ended off with my favorite game of the entire day. Jeff Keighley kind of said, hey, this is a little bit of a long video, but trust me, this one's worth it. Balan Wonderworld. Balan Wonderworld. And what this is, it's a Square Enix game, but they have the director of Sonic and Knights. Remember that old Sega game Knights?
Never played it, but yeah.
This is a action platformer game with the most incredible mix of Knights / Square Enix art style, where you play as a boy or a girl, you get to choose your gender, and you go through this incredible wonder world. There are over 80 different costumes in the game that each give you different abilities, massive boss fights, amazing music. They really went in on here's the art and whatnot. I thought it was just gonna be concept art, but it's here's a full trailer for you. And it blew me away. And I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm buying an Xbox for this game. It's coming to Switch and PS4.
God. It looks like what a Sonic game should be.
Well, have you ever played Knights before? You know what it is.
No.
It looks...
I generally know it's just carnival weird thing.
It looks like a spiritual successor to Knights, honestly. It looks that good.
It looks cool.
It looks amazing. The character design, Knight is iconic. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I've heard of it. I never played it. I don't.
That's old school Sega consoles.
I'm not a Sega fanboy. I don't know.
I know.
Although Sonic Adventure Battle 2 with the Chow things, oh my god, I had top tier maxed out little guy. Oh my god, don't get me started. But aside from that,
But so they ended off the pre-show with this game. It looks phenomenal. It comes out spring 2021. It sold me instantly. That's a day one purchase for me.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good from what I see, honestly.
Yeah. When you get a chance to watch the trailer later with the music is popping.
Are we talking
very
Jump Up Superstar good?
No, very Kingdom Hearts opening theme song kind of
Okay.
And from what we took out from the story, it's all about these two kids have kind of lost their way in life, and they're taken to this wonder world where they help people overcome their depression through there's actually depression monsters, and they've ruined the scenery, and the entire thing is based off of the entire world is a stage, so the theater is being built in front of you. So in Inception, when the worlds are folding in on each other and appearing and building themselves. That's how the levels look. The levels go completely nuts in the trailer.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. It caught me out of like nowhere. I'm like, okay, I'm so excited for like this is the free show. What the hell is going to be in the main show?
Yeah, I literally only knew of it because what's it called? I don't know. I get these random.
I retweeted Nintendo news because they were the ones who reported it was coming to Switch.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I get these stupid emails sometimes from Twitter, and they're like, "Look at what you missed out on. These are the highlights." Right. So it was that for today because I was trying to check my email for something, and I saw that. I was like, "What is this garbage?" But I was like, "Well, you retweeted something. It sounds interesting." I was like, "Let me just click." I was like, "Oh, weird." And
then, now that to me was like one of the best games they showed today. But then they moved on to the full show, which we've already talked about Halo Infinite a little bit. People in the chat, did me and Josh miss anything on Halo you guys want us to talk about? Again, it was just the campaign.
I wanted to see the energy sword.
Oh, I would have loved to see the energy sword. Lumi have a special connection with the energy sword.
God, it was just everyone energy swords, fight to the death, go.
Guess who got the energy sword? Guess who got the energy again, the game looked pretty. His model looks great. Like the voice sounded good. Like everything about it it was all fine. But at the end of the day, it just looked like Halo to me. And I don't know how familiar.
I know it's not the thing that blows you away.
Yeah, well, I don't know how familiar you are with like the Halo franchise. So like I played every Halo game up to Halo 4. I really enjoyed Halo 4. And then when Halo 5 Guardians was coming out, I had zero interest in it. That game came out and it bombed. It ruined the story from what I heard. I don't even really fully know what happened to the story. So this is their way of like soft rebooting it, I think. Like again, they're really going back to let's put him back on a Halo. Let's like put him by himself, like take away all this like other junk that we added in. Like they're really trying to get back to basics, and people are saying like, oh, it's Breath of the Wild Halo now because it's an entire open world.
Yes,
I will only accept that if I can walk from one part of the Halo all the way around.
Yeah, I mean the way they showed it was kind of like you have this whole big section.
It looked like a valley. I could walk between 4 different points. Like
right, it's kind of like you don't have to do them in sequence. You can kind of do whatever, and maybe there are other side mini kind of things, but like that is your zone.
Yeah,
which I'm like, it's fine.
At this point, I want to see what they do with the multiplayer because that was always like the big thing for Halo.
That's the thing. Like for me, like that'd be the only thing I would play.
Yeah.
In the Halo game. Like, I really mainly only played Halo 3, and all I did was play online, whether ranked or with friends, or even their sandbox mode thing, but still, like, basically online. That was all I ever did in that game. Never beat the story, never touched it, I don't think. Like, I don't know. So, we'll see it when they show more,
like
honestly.
You said, if you can go to the other side of the Halo and look up to the side where you were at, that'd be amazing. Because the idea,
in theory, maybe.
But the idea is the Halo is so large, it's circumferencing the planet. Like, I can't, like, walk on... Well, I guess because it's inverse, it wouldn't matter then. That'd be cool, though, if you could, like, walk from point A down over here and see, like, oh, there's the tower I took down.
I don't know if it works like that, but, yeah... It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, you don't know. Yeah. But most likely not.
But that is coming out holiday 2020 again.
Which I think it's just the way of saying, well, since...
It's a launch title.
You're right. It's just they didn't tell the date, so therefore we're not going to tell you the date for Halo. Like, they're not going to just be like, oh, it's actually November, whatever. Like, then everyone will be like, huh?
But again, it's out on Series X, Xbox One X, and PC, so... No need to buy an Xbox.
Oof.
Then they showed off State of Decay 3, which was just a trailer, no gameplay, and woman in the woods yelling at deer. Deer's a zombie, yells back. The end.
Still spooky.
Yep. Then they showed Forza Motorsport. They made a big deal. They made a big deal like this is rendered in engine.
I know, and it looked good, but then they didn't actually show the in the car look. So I was like, okay.
Yep, so that's all.
It looked good, though.
Yeah, it looked good. Then they showed Everwild, which this is Rare's game.
Oof.
Everyone was really hoping for Banjo-Kazooie 3, Viva Pinata 3, like something like Donkey Kong Country. Probably not that, but...
No, but...
Rare,
when I saw the Rare thing, I was telling you, I texted you at the time, I was like... They literally put Banjo in Smash, ride the momentum, make a Banjo game, and if that is somehow like Xbox PC exclusive something, that's really cool.
I bet you anything that there is a Banjo game in the work, because you gotta think, Banjo was released last year. The game they're working on right now, Everwild, they showed off, clearly has been in development much longer than a year. So I wouldn't be surprised if like they said, okay, you know what, we gotta finish out Everwild, and by the time we're done, the Banjo hype hopefully will still be around. If they want to do that, even we don't even know.
If they pull it off, where they actually get it to like be released on Xbox, PC, and the Switch, oh my goodness. But yeah,
they need to bring the rare replay. If they want to really do that, they have to bring the rare replay collection to Switch first. I think that'd be a big like home run.
That's true.
Because most of those rare replay games are all Nintendo games, or they were released on.
I mean, it's kind of like it reminds me when what's his name, Sakurai was like, "Go play Banjo on the Xbox."
That was a mind blowing. That was, like if you had told me that like 10 years ago, I was like, "Shut up, you're Nintendo."
Yeah, it was a good one.
Everwild, though, even though it's not the rare game we wanted, looks phenomenal.
I think it looks interesting. It's just we didn't see gameplay to it.
No gameplay.
So I don't fully know what I'm trying to do. It
reminded me of Avatar: The Last Airbender, though.
Correct. I saw them doing the dances and the wind thing, and I was like, okay.
The characters, like the big fluffy like oxen and stuff like that, and like they're all
it was helping with the thing, right? So it's like I get it. Like it's nice looking. I don't know.
I'm just glad Rare's making something that looks good again, because like I thought like their stupid Kinect sports games looked like shit. Sea of Thieves, I've heard is fun, but like it looks so just like.
Well, it's like random, kind of cartoony, whatever. But I hear it's fun.
Pirate game, yeah.
Honestly, but people get a kick out of it. I
hear great things about it. I don't care about it at all.
Yeah.
And I love a pirate anime, so what does that tell you?
Okay, that's fair, but that's totally different.
If they release a One Piece DLC for Sea of Thieves, day one Ken O'Connor is dropping for an Xbox One X.
Oh, God.
Or Series X. Or
Series X. Yeah, I get so confused with the names.
Great naming convention there, Xbox.
They're trying to correct it now. The problem is the damage has been done, so it'll take a while.
One really funny part, which I think is only funny for you and May here, is during the Everwild sequence, they cut to one of the developers of the game. Her name was Louise O'Connor.
Oh, yes. I saw that. Wasn't it spelled correctly, too?
Both our names spelled correctly, yes.
I like correctly. But yeah. That was amazing. So I
screen capped and sent it to her, like, look at this.
I'm hoping that's, like, actually your relative or something, and you could get to, like, tour Rare Studios someday.
That'd be amazing.
And then hopefully invite me. But
next up, Tell Me Why, which is some people who did Life is Strange, like those.
Yeah. It's weird. The graphics look decent, and then when the people started talking, it got bad.
When they started hugging and like they did the weird like.
It was bad. It was really.
It's two models trying to wrap their arms around each other.
Yeah, it was just weird. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
we don't have to harp on it. I didn't like it.
It's out. It's out next month. It's out because here's the thing. Every game they showed today, there was no division between PC, current Xbox, next gen Xbox. So like this is a game that is out next month that will be playable on PC and the current Xbox, and also the next one. And if you buy
on some level you don't mind, just because. You know, maybe they're just banking on game sales all the time anyway. It's like the consoles are nice, but at the same time, the games are probably more important sales-wise.
At the same time, this is also, again, every game they showed from this point forward is on Game Pass.
I know.
So it's are they really making that much off Game Pass where it's worth it?
I think, well, it's kind of like if you think of Hulu or something. When on Black Friday a couple of years ago, it was like, well, 1 year of Hulu, 99 cents a month or something.
Yeah.
You think like, wow, isn't that really costing them whatever? But at the same time, now if you get triple or 10 times the amount of people to sign up for this thing.
It probably makes up the cost.
And then it's kind of like Netflix or any other subscription. You know, you end up probably not realizing you're still even paying for it for a few months or a year.
That has happened many times with me on many services.
Right. So from that angle, like, I think it's perfectly fine. It's just they're still trying to build that base for the Game Pass, but this is like a gigantic step in building that base because it's literally the best deal. Like, you just look at it, you're like, why wouldn't I do this?
Yeah,
and the fact that they made a point, they made such a point of that today. Like, it's nuts. I mean, really, if you want to go super, like, just generalize everything, if you want to go pure consoles only, you buy a Nintendo console, you buy the Game Pass for Xbox, and you buy PS5, I guess. But
you have to buy all three. That's
well, I'm saying if you have a PC, you know, and you don't care about like literally the 2 PS5 exclusive games that are only for PlayStation 5, then forget it. You have the Game Pass for your PC.
You're not making a good argument here.
No, it's good.
You're basically just swapping out the PC for an Xbox in the situation. You're saying
no. I'm saying also forget Sony. Like, you don't need a PS5 either. It's literally just Spider-Man. That's it.
At launch.
You just it's it. Like,
dude, no. If I pull out the list we did again for Sony, there are more games on Sony's list I care about than even close on here.
I know, Sackboy, it's really calling to you.
So far, going through these, like Balan Wonderworld, which again, I'm not getting on Xbox, I'm getting on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we hit. That's the only game.
All right.
Yeah, and xCloud is going to be on Game Pass starting September, which is huge. Stream your games everywhere, because
I mean, if anything, if you're doing it on PC and doing Game Pass anyway or whatever, you're still in the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah,
so
if as long as
it's just
they want you to buy Game Pass. Anything else you buy is like
right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, see, that's why I'm like, they did a good job. Like, overall, if I have to sum it up, like, it's good.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm just saying, like, they did not. If the point of their conference was to sell me on a new Xbox, they sold me on Game Pass instead.
Oh, 100%. No,
Yeah.
I think that is a very valid takeaway, and I agree with that.
And I think it's going to hurt them because come console sales, when the PS5 outsells the Xbox Series X, no one's going to say, like, oh, people, like, because everyone bought the Game Pass. It's going to be, no, PS5 outsells Xbox One X 10-1 or whatever, Series X.
Well, I mean, you still think people do like upgrades. I mean, it's like why you'd buy a new TV after a few years. It's like, well, it is slightly better. It still runs the same show, but it's better graphics. Or you could buy the same movie and watch it, but it looks better on this TV. It's literally the same argument at the end of the day. So, you're
not wrong, yeah.
So, you know, they still, even if you buy the Game Pass, you still need a good PC to run it, or you need a good console that runs it to the way you like it. So, you know, I can still see people upgrade it. I think it still then all depends on price point, which of course they didn't talk about, Sony didn't talk about. So at the end of the day, it's still all up in the air, just because if Sony says our console's $600 and Xbox says, you know, it's going to be $450 or something like that, then it's going to be like, wow, you know, and it'll really start to make you think. You know, so it's crazy. And, you know, also, Ken, I know you've been doubting me or whatever, but I hear a lot more talk these days about that $70 price point for games individually.
No,
$70.
That was shut down like yesterday and today, actually.
Yikes, dog. No.
So I think it's the next NBA 2K is being sold for $70, but I forget which company can say, like, yeah, we're not doing that model.
Interesting.
And that was kind of across the board.
I was going to say that's also another incentive for Game Pass, because then you're really saving even more money, too.
Well, but make the games $1,000, and the Game Pass looks great.
It's true.
Yeah. we got to keep moving on. We're almost halfway through this list here.
Yeah, let's go.
Then they showed off Ori and the Will of the Wisps. They're doing an improved version that'll run better on the Xbox Series X. This, to me, feels cool. Like a giant middle finger, though. I love the first Ori game. I did not play the second one, though. Do you know why?
Because it was only for Xbox. I don't know.
No, the second one runs like crap. it has really bad frame rate issues, constantly crashing. Like, it's all like, and this is not just on the console. This was on the PC version too. Like, apparently,
how is it constantly crashing when it's not an online game?
Like, the software crash, Josh.
But like, why? Like, how?
It doesn't run well. It's constantly glitching, locking up.
I can't believe that.
No, read the reviews. It's the entire reason why I didn't get the game.
I mean, that's insane to me. But
yeah,
okay.
But then here they come out. They're saying, "Hey, we're doing this much better version now with everything fixed," and they showed off the frame rate's fixed. This is fixed. This is fixed, and it's gonna look great on Xbox Series X.
I mean, it's not like they're charging you again.
Correct. But like, I'm like, oh, that's so shitty. Like, if I want to play this really great game and have it look really good.
If it really has that many problems, then yes, that is very unfortunate.
It's probably been patched a bunch since like launch, but I know at launch it was like really bad.
Well,
yep.
It looked good in the video.
But then it'll be out in 2021 or 2020. I can't read my handwriting, but soon.
I don't remember actually, but that's fine.
But it's gonna do 4K HDR, 120 FPS, like some like amazing stuff. But like,
yes,
that's what it should have been originally.
Well, not 120, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then we have what I call the Obsidian block. We have 3 titles from Obsidian here. First, they showed off DLC for the Outer Worlds called The Perils on Gorgon. Looks cool. It's coming to everything. It's not Xbox exclusive.
Yep.
It's out in September 9th. Then they show Grounded, which I nearly pissed my pants at this moment.
That was funny. That was actually funny.
Okay, so I thought, like, I knew going in people really wanted a brand new, like, role-playing game from Obsidian. Like, Obsidian's probably working on this big role-playing game. They've been working on it for, like, in secret now for years. It's going to be huge. And then when Honey I Shrunk the Kids, the video game, started playing on the stream, I legit almost rolled over laughing. I'm like, because again, I didn't think they would show a third game, but like, I'm like, if this is the big title they've been working on for years, and the guy goes into we're always trying to find new ways of storytelling here at Obsidian, so we came up with Grounded with these kids. I'm like, oh my god. But then they said we have one more thing, which... before I move on, Grounded...
Wait.
Go ahead.
Can we talk about Grounded for 1 second?
Go ahead.
I loved the beginning of it. I actually laughed when the guy was...
The cyberpunk joke?
Yeah. It was like, I forget what it was. If it's, you want to play a really...
If you want to play the biggest game of this year, play Cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah. If you want play Cyberpunk.
If you want to play the smallest game...
Right. I was like, that was good. But
they leaned into it and it was funny. I just, again, at that moment when I thought that was Obsidian's big game, the Honey I Shrunk the Kids game, I'm like,
you lost your mind.
I lost it. But then they showed their third game, which is the big RPG they're working on, called Avowed.
That looked phenomenal.
Again, we didn't see much. We saw an arrow get shot through the sky, and then we see a guy standing up, and he's dual-wielding a sword and magic. And then
the best way people are putting it is they were like, it's Obsidian's version of Skyrim.
Yes.
Which I agree with. It just looks cool. Like, I don't know. I'm a sucker, I guess, for the thing where the guy was like drawing the symbol in the air and then with the colors. I was like, oh my god. It looked really good, honestly.
Great.
It just looked so impressive, and those graphics look better than Halo's graphics, I'll tell you that.
100%.
So, like, if I honestly had to pick...
That wasn't gameplay, that was a pre-rendered cutscene, so...
Okay, well, it looked better than the pre-rendered Halo cutscene. But anyway...
well, there wasn't.
There you go.
That was all running an engine.
I know. But, it's even worse. But, what's it called? I would say that, like, this was probably, like, the biggest game I thought to be, like, hyped about from this presentation.
That was definitely a standout, for sure.
Yep.
Moving on, they showed As Dusk Falls, literally a title I don't think anyone's ever heard of, and, like, do you even remember it?
No.
Exactly. They touched on Hellblade 2 for like a split second. They're doing like a documentary on like the creation of the game, but they didn't show us anything new gameplay wise. So
that was it. It was funny because then they also said the line that basically that game specifically had touched so many lives or whatever. I'm like, wait a second, but it's not out yet. I don't know.
I think they're probably talking about the first Hellblade, but
I guess, but he said the second name, but I don't know. But yeah,
so
that's like a non-factor since basically nothing happened there.
Yeah. Then they showed off Psychonauts 2, which, holy crap, that looks good. Go ahead.
I think the gameplay looks like utter trash, in my opinion. But I want the soundtrack.
That was just one song. That was just Jack Black singing about, like, psychedelics.
I know, but he was killing it. It actually was... It sounded good.
It sounded good. Now, you haven't played Psychonauts, right?
No.
Do you know the concept?
No.
So you have the ability to go into people's minds, and basically whatever their like personality is how their mindscape works. So let's say you were really into ramen, like that was your defining character trait.
Min. Yep.
Yeah. When I entered your brain, like your world would be made out of ramen. I'd be fighting like giant like soft-boiled eggs and like giant chopsticks and like that stuff. So the brain he entered in was like a trippy psychedelic hippie mind looked like. That's only that is one brain, so that's equivalent of like a level or a world in the game. They're not all gonna look like that, but if that's like the introductory level, that is insane. Like in terms of like the scale from that level to the previous ones in the first Psychonauts, that's a huge increase in scale.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that kind of art style. Like it didn't impress me at all.
It's very Tim Burton-y kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I just really like the music. I fell for it. I was like, Jack Black. I was like, okay. I know he does like random video game channel things or like singing, I guess, with his group and everything. But like, I didn't know what to expect. What was happening with that?
Jack Black.
I started singing. I was like, oh.
Jack Black is in almost every Double Fine game. He either does voices, he does singing. Like, do you remember that game Heavy Metal? He's the main character in it. He was in.
Do you mean Brutal Legend?
That's the one. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. People were saying Brutal Legend 2.
Yeah.
But
I would love Brutal Legend
initially.
2.
But
yeah.
I mean, I at least want to listen to the soundtrack. So there's that.
Good enough. Then they announced that Destiny 2 is coming to Game Pass with everything.
Ooh, that's where the chat started going hostile. But yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, every single expansion coming to Game Pass, and it's all coming in its normal state. So like for made Xbox One X, but then Destiny 2 Beyond Light, which is the enhanced version of all the content and the DLC, will be out November 10th, 2020 for Series X, PC, etc., etc., etc. So it's the exact same content, just optimized for like 4K, 60 FPS, next gen console.
Okay.
So that's out November 10th.
Interesting.
So I'm betting that's either the date or like a week before the date. Just putting that out there, because that's the closest thing we've gotten in that realm so far.
Correct. That is true. Also, I do like how I was hoping someone was going to say it in the Twitch chat as the presentation was going, and they did, because her name was Sarah Bond. I was hoping someone was going to type Bond, Sarah Bond, or something like that, or whatever. And a couple people did in the chat, and I was very happy about that. But anyway, yeah.
Then they showed a trailer for Stalker 2, a franchise
literally no idea.
I've never heard about.
No, except the chat knew all about it.
Yeah, so completely over our heads, but it was a cinematic trailer, showed almost
But it's
nothing.
another horror thing, isn't it?
It looked like a horror. It looked like someone was being stalked in the woods.
Yeah, like, it's still just not my genre, so that's probably why I have zero idea.
Yep. Then they showed Warhammer 4000 Darktide. Just a Warhammer game. There was a bunch of zombies in it.
Oh, yeah.
No gameplay, just a trailer of a bunch of guys, and then they turn on the lights and there's a bunch of zombies in front of them.
Another game I don't play that genre at all.
Yep.
Do not wish to.
Then they showed off, this was another big one for me, Tetris Effect Connected.
Oh, this was funny. I didn't know what I was expecting looking at this, and then it ended up being Tetris, and I was like, what? Like, and I was like, is this trying to compete with like Tetris 99?
Have you played Tetris Effect?
No.
Oh, it's one of the best games ever made.
It looked like a totally different concept where you kind of form like, I don't even know.
So Tetris Effect was made for VR. It's just Tetris. There's nothing unique about the gameplay.
Oh.
But when you lay the blocks, it adds more music and more like elements to what's going on around you.
Oh, okay.
One of the levels is you're completely in the dark. Like if you have the VR headset on, you're completely in the dark. And the Tetris blocks coming down are logs. So it's still Tetris shapes, but you can select their wooden logs. And as you drop them, it's like bunk, 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 as like wood. And then when you get a Tetris, you ignite the fire. And all of a sudden, the room around you starts getting warm and red. Embers start coming up. And the more you keep adding to the wood, bunk, 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 fire comes up all around you. It's the most, like, I'm getting chills, like, just, like, remembering it.
Side note, you should be a conductor. But,
Thank you.
Yeah. But, no, that actually sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
I don't have it for VR, but I have it on the PS4. I just played it, like, I turned off the lights in my room and got really close to the screen.
Oh, my God. The most budget VR I've ever heard about.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Even like that, it was still, like...
Oh, right.
The best, like, the most, like, I played the entire game in one sitting. And it's like, it's like 40, 50 levels. And like, I sat down and just, like, got immersed for a couple hours in Tetris. And it was so good. So, this is a DLC. So, Tetris Effect was only on PC and PS4. Now it's coming to Xbox under the name Tetris Effect Connected, where they're adding online multiplayer elements to it. New songs, new boards, new everything, which is great. But this is also coming as a free DLC if you own the PC and the PS4 version. So again, not exclusive by any means, but Xbox is getting it first in this new format.
Which is still cool. I mean, if someone's really, if they're only playing Xbox, they're like, oh, now I could actually try this. You know?
I just find it funny because Xbox doesn't have a VR headset, and this is a game that was designed for VR first. Like, it was designed for the PSVR headset.
Based on that video of the people playing, there was no VR
exactly.
at all.
So I feel like they're losing the spirit of what that game was supposed to be.
At least in the way that you describe it, yes.
Yeah. Like there's a really cool one where you're on like a you're on a mountainscape, and you all hear is like the of like the mountains.
Don't even hear it. I just looked, so I saw you doing something. I heard nothing.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm just not well versed in like the ASMR scene, so like I just don't know what I'm picking up here.
Gotcha. But the Tetris blocks that are coming down are little gears, and as the gears connect, they start moving the wind chimes in the wind.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, it's very dude. It's awesome.
I gotta keep this up on a tab. I'll look at it.
You should. This one we're excited for, Joshy. This is from the creators of the SteamWorld Dig games. The Gunk.
No, that's just like budget Luigi's Mansion. I was not in the mood for that.
I thought it looked kind of cool.
The graphics, they betrayed me. They did not look great. And then, I don't know, the proportions were weird on the main character.
Well, yeah, she had like a giant like arm hand hump thing. Like,
yeah, I'd rather play Luigi's Mansion, so it's fine.
All right, moving along. This next up, I think, is the most impressive game they showed today. The Medium.
Oh, okay. It's another horror game.
This was the horror game where it's two worlds running simultaneously on the same console. Okay. So the way they showed it during the conference was it was split screen, so you could see both worlds happening at the exact same time. I don't know if that's how the game is going to be, because I can't imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
looking at like a split screen.
In my mind, I kind of think of it as one is always running in the background. So technically, I guess you either at certain points or at any time you have the option to keep flipping.
If you can do it at any time, that's amazing.
Right. So, I mean, aside from probably like obvious cutscenes or something, I assume that you have that capability. So they're showing you like, hey, we're actually running both at the same time to make that possible. Or else, why would you run both at the same time if there are only specific areas?
Unless there's a gameplay element, because it showed like one scene where she's walking down a hallway of a school.
Right.
But in the fucked up world, like there's like a demon like going back and forth like between like doorways kind of thing.
Right, the upside down, the Demogorgon.
Yeah, exactly. So like, is she safe in one world and like in danger in the other? Does she have to use both? existing in both of them at the same time.
Right.
I need to see more of that game because, again, like, I like horror games, but I thought just the technology, the fact they're basically running 2 games on top of each other at all time.
Yes.
And I can just imagine
that it was very interesting.
Imagine like if you can switch at any point in time. Imagine if you're in the real world and you just switch on a whim and there's like a fucking like monster right on top of you.
I will not be sleeping tonight, thank you.
Like, how horrifying if I just like snap my fingers and there's like a face right in front of me.
Of course that's horrifying. What do you expect me to say? Like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to see how it plays out. But
I think that was one of the biggest games today that showed off the technology happening.
Yes, I agree. That is very cool.
It's the same reaction I had when we saw the Ratchet and Clank demo and they were jumping through worlds without load times.
I guess it's similar, not the same concept, but similar.
Next up, they showed Phantasy Star Online 2, New Genesis. This is a DLC for Phantasy Star Online.
That was really funny, though, because as it was going, people kept saying, is it Sonic? Or whatever. And yet it literally said from the first second that it was not Sonic.
Well,
I don't know. Anyway.
It said Sega, so... Like,
I know. No, I know.
The
second it said Sega, the chat just...
It's Sonic!
Yeah.
Then they showed that some random game, Crossfire X, which is apparently a free-to-play game on Xbox One X.
It literally looks like a bootleg, like Call of Duty.
It's getting... well, that's what it is, and it's getting a campaign mode added to it.
Right. So it's like, whatever. I guess if you can't afford Call of Duty, you could play Crossfire and practice.
Yeah. And then the last thing they showed off for the entire conference, the long-awaited return of Fable.
Which, that was one of those moments for me where I thought it was like a Skate 4 moment where, by the way, Skate 4 was actually announced.
Oh, yeah?
But, you know, people were just typing, they're like, no Fable, and, you know, sometimes trailers would come up and Twitch chat was spamming, Fable, all this stuff. I was like,
go ahead.
I was like, it's gonna be another Skate 4 thing. Nothing's gonna happen. Whatever. And then it said and one more thing. And I was waiting because people then started getting excited. And I was like, you know, it's gonna be something trash and it's gonna be funny and everyone's gonna flame Microsoft. And I was just waiting for the trend. And then they actually showed Fable. And I literally said to myself, I was like, no way.
They did it. They did it.
They actually did it. I mean, of course, they showed, like, nothing, but to be fair, they showed more than Metroid Prime 4, so I guess that's something. But, so, if you're kind of measuring it up against that, you know...
Fable 4, more than Metroid Prime 4.
It's very low bar. But, yeah, I think that was really good. I think that actually saved them, because the back half of that was pretty weak. I think the medium thing that stood out to me too.
Yeah.
But you know, there were a lot of pockets in there where it was like, and then the Fable thing, literally that's what people wanted. I mean, of course, people would want more to it.
It's been rumored for a while that Fable was coming, because Lionhead Studios and Peter Molyneux, who did the first couple of Fables, they've been gone for years now. And then the company, I think it's like Playground Entertainment, whatever it's called, are doing the new one. They were buying up people from Lionhead and previous like UK developers who worked on Fable like last year. So everyone's like, oh, there's something going on here.
It's right. Well, you know, and Tencent was hiring for...
No. We gotta look at the hiring process.
I know, it's true. So, yeah, I mean, it's exciting, though. I think that was honestly a pretty good ending. If I had to say, like, I know we talked about sometimes with these presentations, we're like, well, they could have led off with this, or they could have ended with that better. Or,
no, Fable was definitely the best way to end the show, I think.
Yes. I think that was actually very good.
I got real nervous when, like, are they ending on Crossfire campaign?
And one last thing, the campaign is here.
It's out today.
It's like, wait, you said it was coming. Oh, like in 2 minutes. Oh.
I was like, wow.
I mean, to be fair, that's an equally surprising plot twist.
I just see them like we're so excited because they before they showed Fable, it's like you may have noticed we only showed like 9 of our 12 like developers today. We'll show more next month. I'm like, okay, they're really gonna let this go out like on a whimper and like just hey, come watch next time. But then boom, they just drop Fable.
Yes.
And again, if Fable is one of those games that would make me buy a Series X if it was a Series X exclusive.
Right.
Which we don't know. I think we don't know.
I feel like our criticism has always been, though, for Microsoft and Xbox is like, where are your exclusive games? Where are your first-party things? What is going to make me play your stuff specifically? And I know they were big on the console launch exclusive, which, to be fair, console launch exclusive thing,
it makes a big deal.
Even if it's for like a 1 month period or something, that actually does factor in pretty heavily, I think. So I think that's a very smart move. But, actually, like, if you go back a few years when they were just like, yeah, we bought this studio, and that was like half their presentation. And we were like, well, it's good, it's moving in the right direction, but like, nothing's happening right now, but like, that's a good move. This is the first time where I actually feel confident, especially based off the pre-show thing that you showed me. Like, this is where that whole buying up the studio thing, like, it's actually showing itself.
It led to this moment.
Right. And I think, like, in a very positive way, this is a very good direction of showing original Xbox creations. And it's good. And, the couple exclusive things that they actually do have from the past, like Halo, Fable, and stuff like that, they're still trying to be relevant and still being out there as well. So I think like it was honestly pretty well rounded. They showed a lot more than I thought they would, because I figured they're going to show a couple big games and then that's kind of it, and you're going to be absolutely disappointed. Absolutely, oh my god, I'm buying a PS5, screw the Xbox. Like, I was waiting for all this stuff, but they actually showed a lot of decent stuff and they covered a lot of topics, and I was pretty satisfied with that.
I fully agree. I'm not disappointed in any of the games they showed. I'm excited for a lot of the games they showed. My main problem with them now is they did nothing. They didn't sell their console at all. And I get what they're doing, and I think for the game, like for gaming going forward, to get rid of console generations and just make it all one big environment, that's phenomenal. That's huge. But I don't think they're doing it the right way.
I think right. I mean, you kind of just wish they did one last like factory reset, and they were kind of like, okay, Xbox Series X and potentially the Series S that might be coming out, whatever. That is the start of this whole thing. Wait, would you like it better if they cut it off now? No,
I think the best way of doing it is when your next console comes out, day one, everything that came beforehand is still playable. So if I buy a PS5 on day one, every PS4, PS3, PS2, and PS1 game are fully backwards compatible. So I'm not losing anything from going from one console to the next, kind of thing. If they still want, to make games like, okay, this will run on the PS4 and the PS5, that's fine. But really highlight, because Watch Dogs Legion, which will be on PS4 and PS5 and like Xbox One and all that stuff like that. That's a game that was developed before the consoles came out, kind of thing.
Yep. So
it makes sense they'd be on both. We get that all the time. Right. When Breath of the Wild came out, it was on Switch and Wii U. When
Twilight Princess was on GameCube.
Yeah. So stuff like that is fine, but then really make your mark about what the next generation of consoles are. Because at this point, I feel like they're telling me to buy a PC and upgrade
buy Game Pass.
And buy Game Pass.
Right.
Which is honestly a great idea.
But when you also mentioned that earlier, I think that maybe was more of the message. Like, honestly, they didn't emphasize the console much.
They didn't.
They
showed it once where they took it apart.
They spread it out. Right.
And they put it back together.
That was about it. And you know what? Maybe their play was just like, literally, here's our game. That's it. And
they showed a lot of good games.
Maybe their next thing is like, okay, we're telling you the price, we're telling you other things, like we're doing this other version of it, and really going deep on that part. I don't know, but
here's the thing now: if the Series X costs more than the average pretty good gaming PC, you go and buy a PC.
Okay, to be fair though, if you want to build a PC and run games like you see on these next gen consoles, you would at least have to spend like $1,200.
Okay, So obviously the console can't be 1200. So what do you think they could get it down to then? They're not going to sell it at cost. They might sell it at cost. I highly doubt they would. But to make even a profit.
Literally, I think all of these, granted, I'm not factoring in the digital-only PlayStation. I'm just factoring in the regular PlayStation with the disc drive.
600?
I would say it's got to be 5 to 6.
5 to 6.
Between that $100. I would just, like, there's no way, because wasn't it when the Xbox and Xbox One and PS4 came out, weren't they both at like 500 at the time?
No, the Xbox was $100 more because it forced bundled Connect in.
Oh, okay. Wait, so PS4 was
$399.
Right, so that was 400, and then the Xbox was 500. Like, I feel like it can't be lower than 500.
Keep in mind, when the PS3 came out, the PS3 was $599 US.
I know, it was insane. But, you know, I feel like it's gotta be... It can't be lower than 500. That's just the sad truth of it. I mean, you're getting a lot of power out of the thing. Well, I mean, you kind of think about it. It's like if you want to buy a graphics card that runs an equivalent, just a graphics card, like for your PC. Like, I bought mine, and it's, like, good, but it's, like, more middle of the pack. Because, you know, you kind of upgrade graphics cards, like, relatively often, every 4 years, 5 years, something like that, maybe. Yeah. And mine's about, like, 3 years old right now, but it's still perfectly fine. But I also don't play crazy graphics games, but like, you know, mine's pretty middle of the pack for some of these games, but it probably looks almost as good-ish, and it was $300 for the graphics card. So thinking about like a really good graphics card, you're spending double that in general, just for your computer. So if that's the whole cost of the system, like, I can't be too mad at it. But, like, it's still a lot of money.
I'm trying to juggle in my brain now, because here's the thing. Neither company has given us a price yet. You know, if somebody's trying to do their dastardly tricks they did last time, they want to undercut the Xbox.
Yes, they're waiting, and then Xbox is like, I don't want to mess up, so we're waiting.
Exactly.
And next thing you know, it's going to be like, the game is out, and then the console's out, and everyone's like, what?
But here's the genius thing now. Xbox can charge whatever they want. Because if they charge too much, you get a PC. If they charge too little, it hurts Sony, because Sony has to undercut whatever they do.
Sony will be like, free?
If Microsoft sells the Xbox Series X at cost, if they don't make a dime off the actual hardware, but they're just banking on getting Game Pass sales, and Sony can't compete with that, the entire thing collapses in on itself in like a black hole.
It's a very interesting game of chicken at this point. And then you got Nintendo with no first-party announcements for the rest of the year.
just showing off WWE wrestling.
The closest thing is the Crown Tundra DLC.
That's
which, to be fair, I'm very hyped.
Oh,
but
we have to save that for another time. But
honestly, that's gonna be my game of the second half of the year.
Same here.
Like, it's not even a full game.
It's gonna be that, and when we get the Halloween DLC for Animal Crossing.
Christ, you're right,
dude. October, November, December, and Animal Crossing is gonna be so lit. It's gonna be amazing.
It's going to be better than anything Nintendo's coming out with at this rate.
I still think, like, we're not gonna get into this. Like, there's the rumors of that big Mario collection. We haven't heard a thing about Breath of the Wild 2 or Bayonetta 3.
I honestly did not expect Breath of the Wild 2 for this year. I thought the holiday 2020 was like a prayer, but most likely it'll be sometime in next year. But I figured for sure they're going to do some sort of big remake thing for the 35th anniversary and all this stuff of Mario games and whatever. And at this point, it's going to be on the 36th year. They're going to have the 35th year stuff. I'm like,
I'm waiting for like the Prime trilogy to come to Switch. They still have a couple games from the Wii U that haven't made it over to the Switch yet. Like, they still have stuff they can kind of just churn out. And I would be like, you know what? I'm fine with this. Bring me more.
Yeah.
Like they can still do that, but like I'm with you though. I'm a little bit worried about what the holiday looks like.
I'm extremely worried. But
Oh, Miyamoto, yes, another Mario game. Galaxy 2 on Switch? Bring me the Rosalina.
why am I picturing you? Because I see you got like the little earbud thing in. I'm picturing like that strap actually being connected to a monocle that's being held up right now. Oh god.
Yes, Miyamoto. Yes.
Hand me the money. But yeah,
I'll count the money.
yeah. Oh
Rosalina
god.
hype. I'm so happy Rosalina is in Super Mario 3D World. That was like the best surprise for me.
It's true.
She's like the secret unlock character.
You know, the worst part is though, they're gonna like right, but they're gonna like re-release those games, right? In theory, if they do, like I beat those games. Like same thing with the new Super Mario Brothers Deluxe U, whatever they ended up calling it. Like I fully beat that game, like 100% of it. Like I didn't buy it, so like I'm not gonna buy. Okay. Any of those remakes either for the 35th anniversary. It's like
fair enough.
You know, it doesn't do anything.
I have never played Galaxy 2.
Really?
Yep, never played it.
I don't actually know if I beat the game, but I played at least like half of it. Like
I don't own it. I can't honestly tell you if I own it or not. Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing was like it's the same thing with Yoshi at different levels.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of it.
It was the exact same engine.
But it was cool.
Yeah. I didn't go back to complete 100% through 3D World. I think I got like most of the stamps.
Yeah. Probably sounds about right.
I beat the original Galaxy like completely.
Yep.
And if they bring back Sunshine, like I've wanted a Sunshine remake for like years now. If that again,
that would be compelling.
If that's brought back as a remake, because there's been rumors for a while. Remember there was the rumor because Odyssey never got DLC. And originally, Isle Delfino was on the map, and then it was taken off.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, they're gonna bring back Isle Delfino as like one extra world for Odyssey." If they took the Odyssey engine, like, hey, what if we do Sunshine with Odyssey?
All right, ASMR man, I got you. But, like, that was good though. That's a good idea.
Remember there was that artwork of Mario, laying out in the sun with his shirt off.
Yes, I know.
Eating the watermelon. Everyone's like, that's a new render. This is correct. This is Sunshine.
Yes,
I would be.
If they did that, and if they remade Legend of the Seven Stars, you got me.
Remake Legend of the Seven Stars in alignment
in the Paper Mario engine.
And then bring Gino into Smash. Here's the thing. Min, the fact that Min got confirmed as a character, she was a spirit in...
Correct, so it broke that rule.
Broke the thing where spirits can't be characters. So Gino can fully be a fucking character now.
I'm just waiting for it to be only like a gunner skin or something on the Mii fighters.
Well, here's the thing. He did have a costume in Wii U and 3DS, but they have not put that. They've put in every costume from the original thing into the game. Like they're doing new costumes now, but they didn't.
But you can't say that they planned that because they didn't plan on doing a second DLC. So it's weird. It's not like they were purposely holding it back.
DLC Pack 1, like the first DLC Pack 1,
yes,
every costume from Wii U 3DS that they added in afterwards is in Pack 1.
Okay, I got you. So, all right. Okay, then you have a point. There's hope. There is hope.
Yo, Paper Mario Sunshine Odyssey RPG cart.
Oh man, yes, I thought that would be a DLC character for Paper Mario himself. It'd be interesting.
I've always wanted Paper Mario or Majora's Mask Link.
But you already got like 3 Links.
Yeah, but like Majora's Mask Link, his entire thing would be he would turn to either a Goron, a Deku, a Zora. Like he would change back. Like it wouldn't be swordplay. It'd be like it'd be like Pokemon. What Pokemon Trainer is.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
You press down, you're a Goron. You press down, you're a Deku.
I mean, honestly, I'd complain less because it's not a Fire Emblem character, so there's that.
If we get another fucking Fire Emblem character, we only got 5 spots left.
I know. The Waluigi timer is ticking.
Oh no, he's not coming. I would love him.
It would be hilarious if he's the last one.
Wow,
or it's like the DLC pack 2 or whatever is already over. It's already done, and they're like, but one more thing for pack number 3, we're only just doing one bonus one. Waluigi.
Like even Daisy, fucking Daisy, got in as an Echo Fighter.
Don't you dare talk bad about Daisy.
I love Daisy, but like Daisy compared to Waluigi, Daisy has done like nothing.
Okay, 100% accurate.
And
that is fair.
Daisy is in the game.
Well, to be fair, Toadette's not in the game. Toad's not in the game.
They're under Peach's skirt.
Toadette's not.
Under Daisy's.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Anyway,
I don't know if that's true. Don't listen.
I don't think it's true. What? It's not true.
I think it's just another Toad. I never actually checked to see what they do with Daisy's Toad.
God, that sounds wrong. I never checked. I'm getting it wrong. Yeah, no.
God. Is that a turnip?
No. Okay, moving on. Anyway,
okay, this is actually a good transition going from
Captain Toad for Smash. Oh my God. Anyway,
which Captain Toad? How far are you in Paper Mario?
Not far enough. All right, continue. Go.
Okay, so we're done with the Xbox talk. I think at this point, again, good showing. Sold us on Game Pass. Didn't sell us on the console.
Correct.
We need.
No, in theory, Sony didn't sell us on the console either.
That's true. That's very true.
So both of them have stuff to show. We need to wait and see.
We need to wait and see. Both. We need prices. We need dates. We need. That's pretty much it. We
everything important
and
about buying
and backwards compatibility. I need to know day one.
Right, to confirm.
Like, can I put this away day one, or do I need to keep it there for like 2 months on the shelf before it gets awkward?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Before it gets awkward.
So let's move on to Paper Mario and the Origami King. This is our last big topic of the night.
Right. So being the kind king, how did the game insult you as a fellow king?
There is. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but there's a line about a kind king, and I screen capped it.
I was going to say you better screenshotted that thing.
I can't post it. It's super spoilery, but like it made me so happy when I saw that. I'm like, yeah, the name still works.
There you go. Did they add like a 0-1 at the end?
I drew it in.
There we go. There we go.
I was in the One Piece podcast YouTube stream the other night, and someone saw my name, Kind 01. Like, do we got a Zash Bell fan in here? I'm like, yeah.
Hey. You're like, why? Yes, I am. But yeah. So like, I guess. Okay, let me tell you my perspective then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since I am in the town with the second ribbon, I'm in the like Japanese.
You're in Shogun Studios. The
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the blue ribbon, I think.
Yes. So far, like throughout the game, I thought it's been pretty cool. I think it's just I've also been so out of Paper Mario games for a long time. Like, the last one I played in the series was Super Paper Mario for the Wii. In terms of like actually played like most recent, I guess it was the original Paper Mario game for the N64, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, nice.
I just randomly, few days in a row, just kind of was like, you know what? I think I beat this game. I don't remember if I actually beat it or I got very close to the end. Let me just like play it. And it was very enjoyable.
That's what happened when we played 1,000 Year Door together, you, me, and Pete. You had never beaten the original 1,000 Year Door until that race. Right.
So, that was also cool for me like that too. And, so I haven't really played like a new, fresh one though in so long. And so it's been really refreshing, honestly. I think the dialogue is fantastic. I think the graphics are great. I do fall victim to liking the collecting the toad aspect. The combat system is a little to be desired after a while.
Okay.
I think it's kind of interesting, but at the same time, I'm like, eh. I mean, the boss one is also weird. I mean, I'll have to see as it keeps going, but it's kind of like, for the most part, I generally figure out a very kind of simplified, like, okay, I basically just need this little tile, I need that tile, and that tile. And I feel like there's so many other things on the board, but like I don't need them, and maybe I'm doing it slightly slower.
You will need them later on. Like I'll tell you, the first, like, just sorry to interrupt you. When I first started playing, the first, like, getting used to the battle, like, I thought it was way too easy. I thought, like, okay, I'm nailing these puzzles every single time, getting like the boost to my attacks, and everything was taking a turn. And I got to like the first 2 bosses, and like I just like went straight for the attack each time, and like I didn't get like.
Well, I don't go straight for, like, sometimes there's like that one that like makes you double attack, and there's one that like gives you I guess just bonus power or something. Like, I've hit those.
There's one that gives you double attack power, and one that allows you to do 2 actions per turn.
Right, yes. So, like, I do hit those things. Like, I see that. Like, I don't know if that's what you're talking about, or there's other things.
There's other things later on.
Okay, because I did the one, it's also, like, try not to spoil, also for other people that like too much. But
like, even like when Nintendo's review went out, like, they were allowed to talk up to the 3rd ribbon, so we're still within.
Well, so the thing with the water temple thing, which I was like, oh god, in any Zelda game, I give up at the water temple. But anyway, you know, when you technically were doing that boss fight, and you have to account for the water and various things, like higher ground and stuff, like, I actually thought that was pretty cool. Like, I thought that was kind of fun. So I'm at least picking up on that kind of stuff. I just feel like sometimes, like, they have like so many arrows going around and different things, and like, I don't utilize like these crazy concepts. I'm more like, go up, go to the right, and then hit this one point, go up. Like, I don't do like a million different, like, you can't go back though.
You don't need to. Like, yeah, once you step on a spot and the spot is activated, you can't go on it again. So you can't keep looping around or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, part of me just wishes though that you could kind of like go up one row, go to the side, go down one row. Like, I wish the down arrow was an option.
There's a down arrow.
Like,
but
maybe later.
Yeah, with all the boss fights are my favorite part of the game, because
they seem to evolve though. Like, I feel like the first one was simpler, so I'm assuming they get crazier with what's on the thing.
The boss fights are the only fights in the game where I've died.
Okay.
And they get super difficult by the end. Like it really ramps up to where, like, I was like, I don't know how to beat this thing, like, several times.
Okay.
Once you figure out their gimmick and what you have to do, it becomes very straightforward. It's like, okay, now that I know what I have to do, how do I do it? Like, where do I have to position myself on the board to get there? But in the beginning, like, it's you can do anything, and like, really, it doesn't really reprimand you at all. But by the end, you need to pay attention very carefully.
Right.
Like, okay, you watched the trailer when they showed off the stationary bosses, right? Mm-hmm. So you know what's coming down the line, right?
Well, at least a couple of them. Yeah.
Which would know?
Well, colored pencil thing. There's the tape.
Okay,
and
so
then there's...
stop right there. So the tape boss, for example, you'll see its entire gimmick later on. But what the tape one does is he tapes the board down. So he tapes 2 of the rings together.
Yeah, so you
can't move one ring without the other ring underneath it moving as well. And he also puts tape horizontally where you can't drag them now.
Okay, yeah. So so that stuff adds to more. Like, I know in the water thing, it was, you know, restricting you sometimes where they'd be washed away, certain, you know, columns and things. So like I did like that kind of stuff. I think those were kind of fun challenges to me. I would think it makes you kind of think about it a little more. I know sometimes I was like getting in these random fights and I'm like, well, I guess I'll battle these random minion things or whatever, like little origami guys. I guess like I need confetti or something, I guess, and like they're fine, but at the same time I'm like, whatever, and I just like don't care about like getting it perfectly lined up. I'm like, let me get it close enough and then I'll block a few things, whatever.
That's like, exactly what I do.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't go crazy about I need the perfect combo. If I slide this here, like sometimes I care, but like other times I'm like,
I got into a really bad habit where I've tried making every puzzle line up for like a jumping attack. And like I kept like neglecting making the 4 square hammer attack ones, or like my mind would think like, oh, I'm always gonna want to put the 4 Koopas together. I would never do like Koopa Koopa Goomba Goomba and then like them separated in a square in another section. But later on, in order to solve the puzzles, you gotta be okay with mixing and matching enemies. There's like that's how you solve them, and it's great because you can solve the puzzles more than one way. Like they come out and say later on, like, yeah, you can solve puzzles like usually 2 or 3 ways. There's not one answer.
You know what's interesting though, and I heard this on that Nintendo podcast that I like listening to from IGN. They were saying, I don't know, maybe this is one of the solutions. I don't know if it's 100% of the time. They were at least saying, though, I guess they didn't beat the game. So I kind of just really wonder if that was just kind of, it happened like that. But they were saying, like, it kind of seems like they kind of basically show you the solution when you start the battle. And then they turn it and mix it up.
With some of them, yes.
I guess I never even paid attention like that. I just kind of waited until it got mixed up, and then I looked more at it, and I was like, "Okay, how do I do it?"
There's some where they show you exactly what the solution should be in the beginning, but sometimes they're all in completely random locations, and they jump to even more random locations, and there's no answer whatsoever.
Okay, fair.
And it depends on your level, because I don't know how strong you are in the game.
Oh yes, yeah. I like this change where they were like, well, you're strong enough now, so honestly, if you just hit them with the hammer beforehand, they'll die.
You get a lot less coins from it, but it's really like nice, and it shows that you are stronger than them.
Yes, and which I really like that.
When you are stronger, you do if you walk into a Goomba when you're already stronger, and you start the match, they're already in a more easy to solve puzzle now because you've already beaten them so much.
Oh, interesting.
That the game assumes you know how to solve the Goomba puzzle. Every enemy has their own kind of pattern.
Okay. I like that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean overall it's been a nice game. It's just I'm taking my time with it, but I'm enjoying it honestly. The one thing I'll say though is that slightly off topic from the actual game we're playing, but not really. Did you hear that one interview thing about like the creator guy or whoever that interview was?
Yes, I did.
Modifying the characters or not, and
you have to, it has to either be a character so outrageous that it's never been a part of the Mario series, and you wouldn't think it'd be one, and you can't modify any current Mario character to make them a different character that would fit in the world.
Which literally says, like, Bobbery could not exist.
Bobbery couldn't exist, Goombella couldn't exist, Koops couldn't exist.
All of those.
Yeah.
Which, that is insane.
It's so upsetting.
But here's the thing. If anything, that actually makes intelligent systems look so much better, because we were hating on them being like, they're only using Toads. Why are they reusing the Bowser, Koopa, Ling, whatever things? And, we kept hating on it. Like, how could you not come up with original designs when they've had original designs in every Paper Mario game? This actually makes them look so much better because it's like, wait, it wasn't their problem. Like, they want to be creative, but random, I guess, heads of Nintendo are just like, don't do this.
Yeah,
and I don't know why that randomly changed.
They must be afraid of the branding going forward.
But like, then how do you make this compelling side story?
You do it by making everything origami and stationary and elements. Like,
sure, let's go forward to another game. What do you do for the next one? You just keep changing the nature of the paper.
Honestly, that's their entire gimmick. They went from stickers to paint to origami.
It's just upsetting.
Like, even in,
I don't know, like
Paper Jam, it was cardboard structures. Like, it was like.
I mean, I guess I think of it from like a League of Legends perspective here. If you actually dive deep into the lore of League of Legends, they basically break it up on like these champions that you could play as in like the regular game. They actually come from different regions of that League of Legends universe that they call Runeterra. And there's different base like countries in a sense, and technically within those countries there are different people there that are not shown in the main game.
Yeah.
So when they have their card game, there are so many other cards of just like what looks like to be random creatures, random characters, random things, but it goes on to explain per card, which is kind of cool. You can actually click on the card while playing, and it can bring you a little summary with full artwork on the screen.
Oh,
it's actually pretty nice.
That's really nice, actually.
It explains kind of like what this is in that Runeterra universe, and it could be a random, merchant from this region that like you would never know from like playing regular League of Legends, but they have that option to actually get very creative in the card game that's based off of it in that universe, because there's that option left there. How would they, like, thinking about it, literally translating to Nintendo in the Mario world, couldn't you in theory have that same concept like they almost did in Thousand Year Door? Like literally they have the region with Shy Guys in like the desert area or whatever, not that I got up to there yet, but like how could you not then take that same approach and be like, well, in the main games, like platformer games, of course there's not going to be a specialized Shy Guy. I mean, that's not the point of those platformer games. But if you dive deeper into that region, of course there are different Shy Guys. There should be one that looks different, one that... How does that not come about?
I think Nintendo, it's all about merchandising. And if you just use Shy Guy, you can keep making the Shy Guy plush over and over and over again. It's fine. But if you make Captain Pirate Shy Guy, a character who's only in a single Paper Mario game, they're not gonna, and like, oh, everyone loves him, but they're like, okay, if we do that though, we have to make a brand new plush for a character who's in one game who may not sell ever again.
What, do they not like money? I mean, just make another plush, like, and then have it.
It's Nintendo though. It's a Japanese business sense. It's much different than us.
I know. And that's
where like the U.S. makes Baby Yoda and everyone creams their pants, and like, okay, now you see Baby Yoda everywhere, and like they capitalized on it. They're not going to do that with Pirate Captain Shy Guy.
Well, they made Baby Mario, but I mean, but the thing is,
like there has been no original Mario character since I think Toadette, or no, Rosalina.
Like actual mainstay, whatever.
I think Rosalina was the last one in Galaxy.
I mean, they went a little crazy in Mario Kart with Pink Gold Peach or whatever, like all that kind of stuff.
That's just a variation of.
No, I know. Yeah, I think you're probably right on that. Like that was really the last.
Maybe Captain Toad, because Captain Toad was introduced in 3D World. He became his own thing.
Yeah. Okay. So like two of them, whatever. But I mean, as is, Captain Toad is a toad. But
they're not looking to rock the boat. Oh wait, no, Polterpup.
Oh, and see, those are good.
They might treat Luigi's Mansion differently than the overall Mario universe. This is a
fair title. But like, I don't know. I see the path that they should be going, and literally the League of Legends example, I feel like is a great example.
Yeah, no, and like perfect example.
How do they not understand that? Like, you don't have to make merchandise for that one Shy Guy that people really like. They'll just be really excited to then play that game because they're like, wow, really new characters? And then they would be excited to see what the next Paper Mario has because they have other new characters, or maybe they have cameos from old ones. Like, if then randomly in the next Paper Mario you see Bobbery show up in the Bob-omb village, like, that stuff is cool.
Bobbery's in the new Animal Crossing update.
I'm not surprised.
If you talk to Gulliver, or the pirate version, he mentions Bobbery by name.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, I had an old friend back in Rogueport with an explosive personality. He was a real bomb. Yeah, something like that.
Huh. That's cool. Like, and that's it. You don't have to make a Bobbery plush. You don't have to make a Bobbery game. Like, just, you can reference fan favorites, but like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
But
the partners in Origami King, their designs are not unique, but their personalities are phenomenal.
Right.
I think you've only met Bobby so far, right?
Correct.
There's a few more partners. There's not a lot of partners. There's maybe 2 or 3 more partners you'll see in the game, but they are fleshed out their dialogue more than the average character in a Paper Mario game.
Right. So, like, it's just a shame because now knowing that kind of limitation, they're honestly doing, aside from the whole XP thing and points of leveling up, and I still don't fully understand that one. But aside from that, like everything else, I think they really knocked out of the park on this game.
They very well did, yeah. The XP thing, I think they kind of found a sneaky way of getting around it as well. Because you do earn coins through battling, and the coins are absolutely needed in the later parts of the game. Like, they are essential. So
right, from what you've told me,
if you go through the entire game skipping fights, you will be, quote-unquote, under-leveled in terms of you can't progress the story if you have not been fighting.
Okay.
But there's also the heart containers in the world. So the way it works is, like, if you were to, like cheat into the game and go and get every heart container right from start, you would be significantly more powered up at the start of the game. You could just go crush everything in one hit. It does affect your base strength level, like your basic boots and your basic hammer.
Right.
You'll find a toad later who, like, well, hey, just so you know, there are 10 hearts in the world that you haven't found yet. And, like, he'll tell you, like, hey, if you want to find a heart, go back to this area and find it there.
Okay.
So the HP in the game, in the overworld, maxes out at 200.
Okay.
So if you find all the hearts, you'll get 200 HP in the overworld, and then there are trinkets that you get you past 200 in battle.
Right,
So,
which that's at least something where it's basically badges, like from the old thing.
Before the final fight, I went back and I 100%ed every area. I made sure to get all the hearts, too. So by the end of the game, I had done... Again, it's not the traditional leveling up, but I leveled up my Mario to be the best Mario he could be through spending the coins correctly, doing the battles, finding the heart pieces. Like, it's a backwards way of making a level system.
Right, which you're right. That is pretty creative. I think that's good. I mean, not like people are expecting like Final Fantasy level of like interactive weapon choices and whatever. Maybe Final Fantasy doesn't do it, but like
there's a little bit
whatever.
Like did you when you fought the ice the water elemental? Did you use a ice flower or an ice hammer?
No.
Okay.
I don't even think I had those items. I had fire flowers.
Okay, I think you can buy the ice ones in the shop in Shogun Town. But like,
that's after the water.
Those items. Oh, it is after the water. Okay, sorry. Those items, like, they do play a role later on. Where like they'll say, hey, like if you can break out fire, if you can break out ice, now's the
right.
Do it.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's fair.
That comes into play. The Tanuki tails and the PAL blocks come into play a lot too. Like, there's a lot of items that come into play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they really did a good job, like, honestly. I mean, the biggest thing was learning about that whole character restriction thing. That killed me.
It was definitely eye-opening, and I hope that they get so much negative backlash about it, they reconsider.
Yeah, I mean, two different parts of it. Yeah, it's like, first of all, almost now everyone knows, and try to really get Nintendo to change their ways.
Now the world will know.
Right, but also now we can exonerate intelligent systems essentially, and be like they're fine doing these games. Well, again, it wasn't their fault.
They did a great job in Origami King. Your main companion Olivia is really, really good. She is really, really good.
She actually is very clever dialogue from what I've seen.
She's extremely clever, and she's actually very deep too.
She doesn't seem annoying.
You haven't reached a point yet, but I told you today I reached a point in the game where I had to put down the controller and was openly sobbing. Like,
yes, I mean that sounds very on brand for you, but yeah.
Granted, I do cry a lot, but like it's a moment. It's a moment I never expected from this game or a Paper Mario game or a Mario game in general. They go so far in one direction. I'm like, are you? Like, I was legit taken aback by it.
Right.
Which
so
that alone sold me on this experience.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, it has all those things going for it. And I mean, usually, like, a character like Olivia is probably going to be annoying, or it's going to be whatever. Like, I don't think she's actually annoying.
No, I think she's
rare.
Great. Yeah. She's not like a Navi. Yeah. She's not like a, hey, listen. Her tips are actually useful, and if you call her out in an area where there's no tips to be needed, she'll give you a cool fact about the area.
Yes.
Finding all the toads is super fun.
Yeah, it actually is, and their dialogue's hilarious.
Their dialogue is so good.
Like, actually funny. Like, I told you the one, like, very at the beginning, where literally you see this toad, like, cowering in fear until you defeat, like, whatever enemy is near him. And then he, like, goes back out to where I guess he should be. I kind of like those interactions where they're actually, like, purposely removed from where they should be. And then once you defeat that thing or solve whatever, then they kind of go to where they're supposed to be. And... so I like that in general, but I love how then, like, I defeat the guy, he moves back to his spot, and then he's, like, just as happy as could be, and he's literally like, yeah, today's great, I'm just hanging out, and a side note, I have amnesia, or something. I was like, what? I was like, that's the most random thing I've ever heard, but, like, that was great.
I love the toads, like you said, they go back to where they're supposed to be. There are toads in the world that are supposed to be in the immediate area. Like, he's 2 feet from where he should be.
Oh, yes, I know where you're going. But
there are also toads that belong in either bigger parts of the world or in Toad Town. So, like, you'll free a toad and he'll like, oh, I work in a giant mansion. I need to go back to my master. You go back to town and he'll be in the house then. Like, my master's still missing, kind of thing. And, like, he'll give you a hint of dialogue of where his master is. You go find the master. The master will say, hey, I own this giant house in Toad Town. Come find me later. There are certain toads you want to keep going back to Toad Town because they keep unlocking stuff for you along the way, whether it be like the trinket toads.
I've done that before. The
VR accessory toads. Like, there's so many like reasons to go back after you save a toad. So their dialogue makes sense. Like, when they run off screen, sometimes they'll just move again, like I said, like 2 feet. If you see them get up and run like far away, that they'll keep going, you'll see them run down a pathway. They're going back to Toad Town and you want to talk to them.
Yeah, it's definitely very cool, honestly.
I will say that the first the first half of the game is very loaded with missing toads, and in the second half of the game, there's no toads whatsoever. Like, when you check when you check the map, it says there are no toads like in this area for the second half.
Oh,
of the game.
Literally just. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, because in the beginning I feel like, wow, I'm finding like 50 toads an area. This is great. And then, like, later on, I'm going to places where it doesn't make sense where a toad ended up there. So it's like, okay, there's no toads here, which makes sense thematically. But I'm like, wow, they really front loaded the game with toads.
Yeah, it's interesting. Huh. Okay. But yeah, so honestly, I was very pleasantly surprised so far.
Honestly, so was I. I'm expecting like very little, or like I figured I knew what I was gonna get, and I got a lot more than I thought I would. Yeah.
So I think we both made a very good purchase, honestly.
Yeah. And we'll obviously talk more about the ending once you finish, because I would love to know, like, even like, again, the part that made me cry. I want to see if you have any effect at all. I feel like it'll affect you too, but I can't be certain.
Fair.
But yeah, no, this was a great entry. I think this is, again, I was telling you where I rank it among the games. I think this is right between Super Paper Mario and the original for me. I miss the combat of original Paper Mario, but I feel like the story is like, this is like on par with like Tippy and all like that stuff from Super Paper Mario. I feel like the gameplay was super fun. Like, I never once found the puzzle system annoying. Like, even like ran into an enemy like, oh, I didn't want to run into you. Like, I never got upset with the puzzle. Like, okay, I got this puzzle.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Very diverse gameplay too. Like, every area feels extremely different. The desert area,
I agree.
The desert area is great. The later areas, I'm not going to spoil, but like, holy crap, they're cool and they're fun. And yeah, I'm really excited for you to play more. Honestly, that's, I think.
Yeah. Definitely, I will.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Anything else you want to say about Paper Mario before we wrap it up for the night?
No, I think that's good. I think we covered our stuff.
Yeah. This game Nintendo has out this year, so.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I guess my game of the year order goes Animal Crossing and Paper Mario for the Switch, and that's it.
It's been a pretty dry year.
I mean,
they got it. They've got something coming up. They got to have something hidden in their pipeline.
Maybe, or they're just banking on Crown Tundra.
Crown Tundra's gonna be insane.
Hidden ability capsules. Anyway,
4-person active raids, like not just like raid battles, but full-on caves to explore. And someone data mined the map. The map is fucking huge. It's a huge fucking map.
It's cool.
Literally, it's frozen tundra.
I know.
I'm so annoyed though that it's on the bottom of the map though.
I know.
Because I understand why, because it's the Galler's, the UK.
I know, so like it has to be if you do that, because the other island's supposed to be on the left, but it's on the right.
Yeah.
East,
but like,
whatever,
why
west.
would you make the top then, it's frozen up there. It's the crown tundra. It goes on the head of Galler.
The only rationale I had was that they're almost trying to do this old like North Pole, South Pole, just within this one region.
Yep. Yeah, but I get it.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I get it. I don't like it.
But the anime is good. Journeys?
Anime is real on Netflix? Yeah.
I'm just watching the English. I was on the fence. I was like, do I make the switch?
No, I think this is a good choice to stick with the
I was like, you know what? Let me just watch the English one on Netflix right now. Let me see how it goes. And I was like, they did a really nice job. And I really like it.
Me too.
Yeah, no, Journey is such like a refresh that they needed that I didn't know that they needed.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, it's always like 25 episodes of filler, one amazing like gym battle, and then repeat that cycle over and over. And then they get to the league, and it's like 25 episodes in a row that are really good. And I'm like, let's do it. And I always get like hyped for it in that way. But like,
it makes you forget the bad.
Right. But I swear, like, Journeys is like, honestly, every episode is a good episode. Like, there's no filler. Like, other filler episodes is when, like, Ash would maybe catch a Pokemon or something. Go literally catches something every episode.
Because that's his goal.
I know. And it's funny because he's literally like Pokemon Go. Because in Pokemon Go, you don't fight anything for the most part. You just throw a Pokeball. So he's just like throwing a Pokeball. I'm like, what are you doing? He's got a score, buddy. Like, hit it. Like, something.
Did you watch Pokemon Chronicles back in the day?
Yes.
This reminds me of Pokemon Chronicles, where, like, it's, like, a different...
Yes, it literally reminds me, or Origins, or, like, any of that kind of, like, alternative Pokemon telling. Like, in my mind,
well,
it's
Chronicles was the one that followed the side characters in the anime.
Correct.
Yeah.
But, like, it's similar type of thing where in my mind I'm thinking it's like a short series.
Yeah.
It's gonna come back. It's gonna just stop, and everything's gonna go back to normal. But like this is the new normal, and for everything else going on in the world that's been the new normal, this is a good new normal. Like, you know, like it's actually like really cool, and you know they even have this whole like basically Professor Oak's lab, but in Vermilion City, where all the Pokemon are, and like. It's cool, and they interact. And literally, Ash got a Dragonite. Like,
I know. I know. I was so excited when I wanted to tell you so badly.
Like, here's the thing.
Remember?
Here's the thing, because like, Ash always like, oh my god, like stereotypically, he always catches the worst one out of the pack. He always gets the one that can't do something. To be fair, he still did with the Dragonite. But, you know, like,
oh no,
it's a Dragonite
that can't transform.
Right. But he'd always get, like, the beat-up Pokemon on the side, the one that was never wanted, and it takes them forever to actually become decent. And, you know, they finally, by the time of the league, it's like either they collapse and die and they're like a Swellow or something, or they become, like, I don't know, like an... Yeah, or Infernape or something, where Infernape is so underrated, but like his Infernape is fantastic. And oh my god, he actually catches good Pokemon. You let Go catch the other trash, but like it's still fun to see him catch these other things.
He's
like
got a score
the fact that
he's okay with me.
He casually caught a Stantler and a Mischievous playing pranks. He's like, "Oh, you're playing pranks on me? Pokeball," and it caught him. I was like, "What?" I was like first of all,
concept.
I know. I was like, "Wait, that actually makes no sense," but I support this. And like,
I always hated in the anime when like they see like, "Oh, look, there's a bunch of Mankey." Ash holds up his Pokedex. Those are Mankey, and then like doesn't even like attempt to battle or fight. Man, I wonder what they're doing. Let's go talk to them. Like that's not what you do.
This anime is like, I see this. Throw the Pokeball. I'm like, perfect.
I want.
And did you pick up on the fact that Ash does not rely on the Pokédex almost at all.
And
he uses the Pokédex a couple times afterwards, but he never now says, "What's that Pokemon?" or "Ooh," like kind of that, like more plain.
I haven't noticed until now, but that makes sense.
He actually is just like, wait, that's like whatever, except for the new Galar Pokemon.
Yes, he uses the phone for that still.
Right, but like he would literally just see like the Ivysaur and be like, "Wow, those are some Ivysaur," and then go like looked it up or something. So that stuff was actually very like I love that little subtle point where they actually made Ash smarter, like which I've been begging for years.
It's honestly a great addition to the anime.
The fact that he also just casually won a mini tournament, like he just randomly entered a tournament in the Hoenn region.
Mm-hmm.
And won.
That never happens.
No! And how cool was Mr. Mime? Mr. Mime was working it. The man used Psychic and Barrier. And he had the morning martial arts. Like, I don't know, it was just good.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh my god. And yeah, I mean, the legendary Pokemon they're showing, it's actually been sprinkled in very nicely. Yeah, it's been really cool. It's like, they had Mew, they had Lugia, Ho-Oh.
Love Lugia.
They referenced Ho-Oh from episode 1 of the original anime. Like I couldn't believe it. Like they actually referenced it again. It was beautiful.
Have you watched all the episodes that are up on Netflix, or are you still going
all 12? All 12. God, I marathoned that like 2 days worth. I was like, I got this break. I'm watching.
They got to add more soon, otherwise you have to switch to subs.
Well, I think they said they're adding. I don't know about August or September. One of those, I think.
Hopefully August.
I'm like at that point. I'm like, I'll be fine. But like, if they told me next year, like next June, I'd be like, oh, okay. But like, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, it's not I don't know if it's fan service. It's just kind of what the anime should have been. The whole time.
That's fan service. It's giving the fans what they want. That's fan service.
I know, but it's also what they should have wanted. I don't know. Like the problem I have though is kind of what is Ash really working towards right now?
He doesn't have a goal like Go does.
No, I know,
Go
it's
has
weird.
A goal. There's all this like talk on the internet, like, oh, if they ever want to reboot the anime, they get rid of Ash and switch to Go because Go is.
Yeah, I've heard that, but that's shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah,
there's
they
no
would
way.
never do that.
Also, I would actually be upset about that. But I mean, I hate on my man all the time, but come on, Ash is the best. But like, and in Alola, he is the best. But what's it called? The casual game, mobile representation.
Oh my god,
you're right.
Hannah, that's great.
You're right. Now the hardcore is, I guess, always Ash's rival, because the rival usually beats him to the ground in the tournament. But like,
the rival is a Twitch streamer.
Oh, but I don't know. Like the problem I have is that Galar has these gym leaders. They have all the stuff. So are they just like
they'll get to it eventually? Don't worry.
Are they gonna tie that in?
They will tie it in.
Just give me one hint here. Does he earn a badge?
I don't want to tell you.
Okay, fine. But yeah, I don't know. Just either way, I'm loving it. He actually caught a great Pokemon. I also know, spoiler's sake, that he has a couple other ones that are like actually amazing Pokemon. I'm not going to say anything.
What if you got spoiled? What'd you get spoiled on?
Because here's the thing. When you start watching a lot of these YouTube videos on various aspects of like Sword and Shield and stuff, and some of these people love to put up, hey, look what Ash just caught on the most recent episode of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh my god. So I know at least a couple that he has. And I was pleasantly surprised.
He's got a lot. He has 1, 2, 3, 4. He has a full team of 6 right now that he's using.
Wow. At least that okay, are you counting Mr. Mime?
No.
Or no? Okay, so not counting Mr. Mime, and let's just throw Pikachu to the side for a second.
Okay, then 5 then.
Okay.
You throw Pikachu
like
to the side.
I would know of 3, including Dragonite.
Okay.
I know 3.
Okay.
So I'm really trying to limit how much I'm being spoiled here. I've honestly tried to unfollow some of these YouTube people and click like the do not recommend anymore kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But fantastic anime, honestly. Like, wow, they blew my mind, honestly.
Good. I'm very happy because I know how important the anime is to you personally.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched every episode, and I've watched it all in English, never skipping ahead, anything. I'm loving it. It's cool. And it got me reinvigorated into the Pokemon games themselves, because I'm like, wow, they're catching everything I want to catch everything. You just like, I don't know.
Well, Go Fest is this weekend, so...
Haha, no, I'm not doing it. It's fine.
All right, well, I think we should probably wrap things up here.
Yes. That was the bonus Pokemon
That was the bonus Pokemon talk.
To be fair, though, we didn't really talk much about the Pokemon anime on Netflix and all that stuff that came out. Like, that was other
we haven't talked
Pokemon
about
news.
TV and everything in a while because we've been doing themed episodes.
Yeah, so, there you go. So it was just something else new that happened. Yeah. Yep. Right. Anyway.
Well, thank you to all of you who joined us in the Twitch chat. D, you were here earlier. We have Hannibal Royce in the chat right now. Thank you for joining us for this episode. This was a good episode. A lot of stuff to cover. The Microsoft stuff.
I thought we had some pretty good discussions.
Yeah, I think so too. We're again, we're more than halfway through the year now. It's kind of crazy with everything going on.
Yep, doesn't feel like it, but yep.
Yep. I saw the other day someone's like, it's March 123rd. Like,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But thank you all so much for listening to the JK podcast. We will be back probably next week because Joshy, I believe you are more free now. Is that correct?
That is mostly true. That is correct.
I can neither confirm nor deny. Move along.
Yeah. In theory, I'm more free.
In theory, you are more free, so hopefully we won't be another month until our next episode. So we'll try to aim for next week. Don't know what we'll talk about, but I'm sure there'll be something within the next week or so.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for listening. Until next time, I've been Ken O'Connor.
Josh Brandman.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Deuces.